Inner Sanctum was a very popular horror anthology that first aired on NBC in 1941, but later moved to CBS. Hosted by Raymond Johnson, the show featured stories of unimaginable thrills, horror, and mystery. Unlike other horror-based series during that time, the show had a tongue-in-cheek, playful style which made America laugh just before they screamed, until 1952. The masters of the creaking door were able to produce a total of 526 spine-chilling episodes for our amusement. Radio Gold is proud to present the Inner Sanctum Mysteries.
Good evening, creeps. Tonight, your Mystery Playhouse invites you to listen to Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Come on out, Mr. Host.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the squeaking door. Well, been shopping around for a nice case of murder? Of course you have. And you've come to the right place because the characters on this program simply kill themselves to keep you amused. Why, only the other day we were accused of making murder our business. But we wouldn't do that, friends. Oh, no. Because that would be mixing business with pleasure. And we consider it a pleasure to give some stiff the business. And now, friends, tonight's story is a triangle tale concerning a man, a woman, and a murderer. You've heard it said that those who laugh last laugh best. But we're going to prove that it never pays to get into a laughing contest with a ghost. Because ghosts always get the last laugh.
I know he's dead. His body's been in the grave for weeks. Yet, although I tell myself it's impossible, I can hear him laugh. That raucous, mocking sound haunts me. The same laughter I heard for the first time in the courtroom. He had never laughed during all the weeks of the trial. Never even smiled. This day, when he came before me for sentencing.
John Spencer, you have been found guilty of murder in the first degree. You wish to make a statement before sentence is imposed?
I killed Hicks. I'm willing to admit it now. But he was no good. He got just what he deserved. And everybody knows it. I'm not a killer. I never committed a crime before. And all I ask now is a chance.
John Spencer, the jury took all that into consideration when it recommended life imprisonment. However, I have the power to ignore that recommendation. It is my firm conviction that to allow one man to take the law into his own hands is to encourage others to do likewise. I therefore override the recommendation of the jury and sentence you to be hung by the neck until dead.
No. Judge, please. I've got a girl. We were going to be married. All I ask is to live so I can see her once in a while.
You should have thought of that before you committed murder.
It's easy for you to tell me what I should have done. But you won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. When that happens, I hope they throw the book at you just like you're doing to me.
Bailiff, remove the prisoner.
Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
Same old story. Prisoner pleads innocence or guilty with good cause. Asks mercy. When clemency is refused, condemned man curses judge and hopes that judge will someday find himself in a similar plight. Spencer's outburst failed to move me in the slightest. I'd heard it many times before. I went home to forget about the Spencer case.
Richard? Is that you, Richard?
Yes, dear. I'll come in as soon as I've freshened up.
Come right now. I've been waiting here all day. Surely it's not too much to ask to just...
All right, Laura, I'm coming.
Richard, I want you to meet my new nurse, Margaret Cummings. This is Judge Thornton, Miss Cummings.
How do you do?
Miss Cummings, haven't we met before?
That's hardly likely. It's probably my face. It's so ordinary.
On the contrary, Miss Cummings. I should say your face is rather unusual.
Richard, suppose you stop that silly chatter about faces and talk to Miss Cummings about her duty.
Very well. Come into my study, Miss Cummings. We can talk better there. Now, sit down, please. There's not much to say, really. In the first place, my wife's heart condition isn't really dangerous.
Yes, I gathered that from Dr. Fletcher.
Oh, he told you about my wife, eh?
Oh, yes.
You're a professional person, nurse, and I believe in frankness. It makes things easier. My wife is 11 years my senior, getting on past middle age. She, is a bit worried. Not that I give her any grounds for it. Jealous. You understand?
Perfectly.
She's not an easy person to get along with. You'll have to humor her.
I'll do my best.
And, Miss Cummings,
Yes.
I was just wondering where it was that I saw you before. Escapes me. You know, Miss Cummings, your face is rather haunting. That was how it began. We played a game during those first few weeks. I would ask, Miss Cummings, where was it that I first saw you?
Don't you remember yet?
No, I don't.
Well, I do. And someday, if you're nice, I'll tell you.
We would laugh together. Having the girl in the house made me feel young again. But it didn't last. It ended one evening in Laura's room.
Richard,
Yes, dear.
put down that newspaper. I want to talk to you.
I'm listening.
Don't you think you're going a bit too far, Richard?
Too far. What do you mean?
I mean Miss Cummings.
Oh.
I won't stand for it. I won't allow you to disgrace me in my own home with a woman who's little more than a servant.
Oh, Laura, for heaven's sake.
I may be a bedridden invalid, but there is a limit.
You're jumping to ridiculous conclusions, Laura.
Ridiculous, am I? I suppose you'll deny you're in love with Miss Cummings, that you've been carrying on with her right under my nose.
Certainly I'll deny it.
I've got eyes, Richard. I've seen you two whispering together. I've watched how you look at
Oh, you're
her.
talking utter nonsense. There's nothing between me and Miss Cummings.
Nothing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, then, I'll give you a chance to prove what you say. I don't want Miss Cummings here. Dismiss her.
You want me to dismiss her?
Yes, Richard. I do.
Miss Cummings, well, this is going to be rather unpleasant. You see, my wife...
Yes, I know. She wants me to leave.
Yes. How did you know?
I couldn't help overhearing the conversation.
Well, then you also know why she wants you to leave.
Yes. But you warned me when I first came here that she was jealous.
It's been very pleasant having you here.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you. Miss Cummings, could I have your home address?
Of course. Why do you want it?
I hope you won't think me presumptuous, but, well, perhaps we might be able to see each other.
Would that be wise?
No, it wouldn't be wise. But I might as well face it. I couldn't hide it from Laura, and now I can't hide it from myself. I love you, Miss Cummings. That note heard Spencer's laugh for the first time since the day in the courtroom. I set it down as a figment of the imagination born out of a feeling of guilt due to my disloyalty to Laura. I put it out of my mind. I had other things to think about. The slip of paper with Margaret Cummings' address on it was in my pocket. A dozen times during the next week I picked the telephone to call her, but something held me back. It was fear, I guess. Fear that if I saw her again, I would be taking a final, irrevocable step. And then I couldn't stand it any longer without seeing her. I dialed her number.
Hello?
Is that you, Margaret?
Yes, who is this?
This is Richard.
Richard?
Judge Thornton.
Oh, hello. How are you? It's been so long I thought you'd forgotten me.
There's little chance of that. Could I see you tonight, Margaret?
Why, yes, of course. Come over as soon as you like.
I dressed carefully. Examining myself in the mirror, I saw a tall man, still on the right side of 50. Still trim in figure and distinguished in appearance. When I got to Margaret's apartment, my heart was beating fast. Like a boy on his first date. Somehow, I don't know quite how it happened. She was in my arms. I was kissing her.
Oh, Richard.
My darling.
Oh, no, we're being foolish.
Sit down, darling. Here, beside me.
Like this?
That's perfect. Margaret, would you marry me?
Mary, you can't be serious.
I was never more in earnest in my life.
Aren't you forgetting a little detail?
No, I'm not forgetting about Laura. She has a weak heart. She may die. And if she does...
I wouldn't count on it. Your wife takes very good care of herself. She may live to be 100.
But if she should die, would you marry me?
I don't know. It's not fair to ask me now. Not while your wife is still alive. Ask me later.
Oh, Richard. You have a pleasant evening at the club?
I didn't go to the club, Laura.
No.
No. I lied to you. I spent the evening with Margaret Cummings.
Richard.
You were right. I'm in love with her. I never knew what love meant before. I can't live without her.
You're mad. You don't know what you're saying.
I want a divorce, Laura.
Divorce? No.
I want it immediately.
You can't do this to me. Oh, my heart.
What?
Now see what you've done.
Laura.
Oh, the shock. My pills, Richard. Give them to me. Hurry. Hurry, Richard.
I knew she was pretending the heart attack,
Oh, Richard.
hoping to play on my sympathy. That was Laura's favorite trick. It always worked before. Not this time. This time I would pretend until I was ready to act. I gave her the pills, watched her take them and sink back in the pillow.
Oh. Thank you, Richard.
Feel better now?
Yes, dear, much better. I don't know what I'd have done without you here. I would have died. Oh, Richard, say you didn't mean what you said before. Don't you see I couldn't go on living without you?
You won't have to, Laura.
Then you won't leave me for that girl.
I'll take care of you. Here, let me make you more comfortable. Pillow needs rearranging.
Yes, it does. Richard, what are you doing?
I'm fixing the pillow.
I don't say.
Lie still. Stop twisting around. This isn't much different from a heart attack. Laura? She's dead. Dr. Fletcher?
Yes?
This is Judge Thornton. Please come quickly, Doctor. My wife has had a heart attack.
It happened during an argument.
It was nothing important, Doctor. Just a domestic quarrel. And suddenly she had the attack. I gave her the pills, but by that time it was too late.
It's too bad.
I'd only known that her condition had become so dangerous.
Oh, Judge, you've nothing to reproach yourself for. These things happen.
Will you take care of the formalities, Doctor?
Oh, yes, of course.
The death certificate?
I'll list the cause as failure of the heart.
There was no need to act the part of the stricken husband after Dr. Fletcher left. I stood looking down at Laura's body. She was dead. And Dr. Fletcher's certificate would clear me of any suspicion of murder. I was free. Free to marry Margaret. I walked to Margaret's apartment that night. The street was dark. Empty. I had the uncomfortable feeling that I was being watched. Followed. And then I heard footsteps behind me. I hurried my pace. And the man behind me did likewise. Frightened as I was, I decided to stop and confront the follower. He came toward me. His face and figure shadowy in the dark. What do you want? Why are you following me?
You ought to know, Judge Thornton.
Who are you? Come closer so I can... Spencer. John Spencer. It can't be. You're dead.
Dead, am I? Well, you ought to know, Judge.
Now, take it easy, mister. Take it easy. Now, just tell me what happened.
I was being followed, officer. So I turned around to see who it was.
And did you see who it was?
Yes. And that's why I fainted. The man following me was a dead man.
It was, what's that?
The man following me is dead. I know he's dead, officer.
I ought to run you in. You're crazy.
I had intended to tell Margaret that Laura was dead. I meant to ask her to marry me. But the encounter on the street drove those thoughts out of my mind. Arriving at her apartment, I went directly to the window and looked out. And there, across the street, leaning against the wall, I saw John Spencer.
Richard, I'm insulted.
What?
You didn't kiss me. You haven't even said hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. That man across the street, he can't be real. And yet, if he isn't...
What man, Richard?
Don't you see him?
No, there's no one across the street.
He was there a moment ago. I turned my head to talk to you, and now he's gone.
Darling, you're trembling. You must be sick.
Don't look at me like that.
Richard, what's the matter?
I guess I am sick. I'd better go and have a talk with Dr. Fletcher.
Yes, I remember the Spencer case very well, Judge Thornton. You could have spared Spencer's life, but didn't. And now you imagine that he follows you?
Yes.
But the man is dead.
Then it was his ghost that followed me. His ghost I spoke to. His ghost that laughs.
There are no ghosts, Judge Thornton. With one exception. The ghosts we carry about inside us.
What do you mean?
Well, these things you hear and see, these are hallucinations brought on by feelings of guilt. Spencer's been dead for weeks. So the question is, why should you experience guilt feelings at this late date?
I don't know.
Well, psychiatry has an explanation. Quite often in such cases, one refuses to face the guilt object and transfers his guilt feelings to some other person.
What are you driving at?
I'm suggesting that your guilt feelings are not caused by the Spencer incident. And I'm going to ask you a blunt question. Did you murder your wife?
Why, of all the
Now,
idiotic...
just a moment, Judge. Just a moment. I've been rather uneasy about the circumstances of Mrs. Thornton's death.
But you yourself diagnosed it as a heart attack.
I accepted what you told me that night. A superficial examination of the body did indicate such a conclusion, yes, but your wife's cardiac condition was mild. Now, your guilt feelings lead me to suspect...
This murder talk is ridiculous. Were there any signs of struggle, any marks of violence? Of course not.
Mrs. Thornton might have been suffocated.
Oh, nonsense.
Perhaps. At any rate, I intend to recommend to the coroner that an autopsy be performed.
An autopsy?
Yes, it would determine whether or not death was due to suffocation. You should have no objection if I am mistaken.
You meddling fool.
Judge Thornton, put down that paper.
You were so clever.
Stay away from me.
No! I've gone too far now to stop at another. I'd lost my head. I should have agreed to the autopsy. That would have given me a day or two in which to plan my escape. But now, as things were, it would be only a matter of hours before Fletcher's body was discovered. My thoughts twisted and turned in panic.
Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
I ran like a frightened child. I needed help, and there was no one to turn to. Margaret. She loved me. She'd help me. I went to Margaret and told her what had happened.
You killed your wife.
For you. So we could be married.
And then Dr. Fletcher.
I had to kill her, Margaret. He was going to recommend an autopsy.
Why did you come here?
We've got to run away. We still have an hour or two. But we could charter a plane to Canada or Mexico.
What makes you think I'd run away with you?
I thought you loved me.
Don't be stupid. I'm going to turn you over to the police.
Margaret, you can't mean...
Can't I? Just watch me.
Margaret, listen before you pick up that phone. Even if you don't love me, even if you won't go away with me, give me a chance. Have mercy.
You make me laugh. Judge Thornton, who never gave anybody else a break, pleading for mercy. Well, turn around and ask the man behind you for mercy.
Behind?
That's right.
Spencer. John Spencer.
Take another look, Judge.
No. No, you're not John Spencer. There's a resemblance, but you're not John Spencer.
I'm his brother.
You're the man that was following me.
That's right.
I was tricked. Led on by Margaret to kill my wife, and forced by you to betray myself to Dr. Fletcher. But why? Why, Margaret? Why did you do this?
For revenge.
Revenge?
Yes. The first day I came to your house, you thought my face was familiar. Well, now I'll tell you where it was that you first saw me. It was in the courtroom at John Spencer's trial.
Courtroom? Yes. Yes.
Yes. Remember how he begged for mercy? He told you he had a girl, that he was engaged to be married, and you could have given him his life. But you sentenced him to his death.
For you, the girl?
Yes.
Spencer. Did he know about this?
All this was his plan. His revenge. Hello, operator. Give me police headquarters. I want to report a murder. Yes, that's right, a murder. Tell them it's very important to get here as soon as they can.
I'm waiting now for the police to come. For the trial. For the sentence, which I know will be death. As I wait, my thoughts go back to the courtroom.
You won't always be be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. And when that happens, I'll be laughing.
Well, Judge Thornton certainly misjudged Margaret Cummings, which was a grave mistake. Why, he didn't have the ghost of a chance with her. She double-crossed him right into the graveyard. Oh, a word of caution. If you must commit a murder, be sure to select the proper weapon. I suggest a sharp-edged axe, because it provides you with a handy alibi. When the police want to know why you did it, you can claim the killing was accidental.
Well, good night, and thank you, Poison Puss, for your Inner Sanctum story, tonight's performance in the Mystery Playhouse. Until next time, creep. Good night. Sleep tight.
Let's take a short intermission. Nero Wolfe made his larger-than-life radio show debut on July 5, 1943. This intelligent detective show, based on the Rex Stout novels, proved to be a natural for classic radio. Throughout the show's run, Santos Ortega, Louis Van Rooten, Francis X. Bushman, and Sidney Greenstreet all filled the voluminous chair of Nero Wolfe. As well, a large assortment of actors played the part of every blonde's hero, Archie Goodwin. The Adventures of Nero Wolfe show remained popular on the airwaves in different versions for 8 years, from 1943 to 1951. In a few seconds, we'll return with another exciting episode of The Inner Sanctum. Stay tuned.
Good evening, creep. Tonight, your Mystery Playhouse presents Inner Sanctum.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host inviting you in through the squeaking door. I just left a friend of mine. He runs an all-night billiard academy near the cemetery. As after midnight, he uncovers the ghoul tables. But no rough stuff in his place. No, he settles all arguments by arbitration. Simply lifts a shroud and points out they haven't a leg to stand on. Believes the old motto that a fiend in need is a fiend indeed. Now, dust off the edge of your chair, because that's where you'll be sitting for the rest of this half hour, and listen to Murder Comes at Midnight. This is the story of how one average family, even as yours and mine, spent a quiet night at their rented country house. A night of terror. As I said, the Cannings were just an average family. Harry was 29 and worked as a sound engineer for a broadcasting studio in the city. Ethel was 27 and had been a school teacher before she was married. Now she was kept pretty busy between writing the great American novel and taking care of Judy, her 7-year-old daughter. This was the first year they had rented a house in the country for the summer, and Ethel didn't take much to the idea of being alone either.
At first, I didn't know what it was that woke me. Perhaps it was because I was expecting Harry. He phoned that he was working overtime. He wouldn't be home till after midnight. I didn't like the idea of his driving 60 miles from this city at that hour. Or maybe it was just because I wasn't used to being alone with Judy in the old house. I got out of bed. I opened the connecting door to Judy's room. She was sleeping quietly. I closed the door softly, went across to my window. Something had awakened me. What? Was it a sound I heard in my sleep? Or was it a premonition? I looked out the window. The night was dark with 1,000 secrets. Harry should have been home by this time. My watch showed a few minutes after 12. Maybe he'd had an accident. Maybe that's why I awakened. Some sort of telepathy. And then I saw the headlight. It was Harry. He was turning in our road. The headlight phased me for a moment as he swung into our driveway. Everything was all right then. I'll be right down, Harry. Breathlessly, I raced downstairs to let him in. I was so happy I could cry. It was only then I realized what tension I'd been under, all because of my silly fears. I unlocked the door quickly. Oh, Harry, I was so worried.
Sorry to bother you so late, miss. Had an accident with my car.
Oh, I thought you were my husband.
Oh, sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, no, I'm afraid you can't come in. My husband isn't home yet.
Well, it won't be for long. Oh,
my heavens, you're hurt. It's your arm.
Hurt it in the accident. Afraid it's broken.
Oh, you poor man. Here, sit down. Sit down right here.
Oh, that's better.
Here. Your arm's so limp. Do you really think it's broken?
I can't tell. It's kind of numb.
Oh, dear, I feel so helpless. I don't know what to do. I took a first aid course during the war, but I don't remember a thing. Maybe I better call Dr. Schultz.
Oh, please, don't go to this trouble.
There's no trouble. The phone's right here.
I said no, doctor.
But it's all right.
Put down that phone, please.
I don't understand.
Maybe you understand this.
A gun?
Put the phone down.
Who are you?
I'll ask the questions from now on. Your name's Canning, isn't it?
How did you know?
Name's on the door, isn't it?
Oh.
What kind of phone is that?
What do you mean?
Party line?
No, it's a private wire.
Can you dial, or do you have to ask the operator for the number?
No, you just dial.
Good. Push the phone over here to this side of the table.
Who were you going to call?
The phone, please.
You better get out of here before my husband comes home.
Oh, how do you think he'd make out in an argument with this?
Oh.
The phone. Thank you. Now step back a little. That's good. Good. I have to put this gun down while I make my call. This arm of mine. But you understand that I can pick it up faster than you could reach it from there, don't you?
Yes, I understand.
I see. We'll get along all right. Oh, operator, get me Plaza 99970. Yeah, I'm hurt, please. Oh, this is 864.
Please. After your phone call, you get out. Before my husband comes home. He's late already.
You wouldn't turn an injured man out of your house in the middle of the night. Oh, hello. Linda? That's right. I had a little trouble. I hurt my arm. Look, I think you'd better come up here. Yeah, and bring Fred and Doc Stetson along. No. Everything's fine. Won't be any trouble. I'm a guest of some very good friends up here. Canning's the name. Or you drive up Highway 26 through Accord and turn right when you pass the first gas station. Just a mile from there. You ought to be here by 6 in the morning. There'll be a light in the downstairs window. Right, Linda. See you in the morning.
You can't stay here all night. You've got to go.
Shut up. What's that over there? Radio?
Yes.
Pretty big.
It's a sending and receiving set. Harry built it himself. He's a radio engineer.
Hmm. Can you get shortwave police calls?
Yes.
Turn it on.
But I don't...
Turn it on.
No.
Well, getting brave, huh?
I don't think you'd dare to shoot me. It would be murder. They'd send you to the chair. Now you get out of here. You call your friends and tell them to meet you someplace else. Now there, I've opened the door. Now get out.
Worried about your husband, aren't you? Afraid of what'll happen to him if he comes home now, huh?
I want you to go away. And if you don't go now, I'll run out and scream for help. There are other houses in this neighborhood, and somebody will hear me.
Oh, go ahead and run.
What?
I won't shoot you.
You won't?
I don't have to.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't dare to run out and leave your kid upstairs. That little red-headed kid with the cute curls. Judy.
How do you know I have a daughter?
Easy. The doll carriage over there.
How do you know she has red curls?
Maybe I guessed it.
And her name, too?
Turn on that radio.
All right.
Junctions on Highway 26. All cars must be searched, every passenger positively identified. Officers are warned to exercise extreme caution. Though believed to be wounded, he's armed and dangerous. I will repeat, Arnie Bishop, known as the Gentleman Killer, escaped from custody on board the Allegheny Limited at 11 o'clock while being escorted to the death house at the state prison. He's thought to be heading north in the direction
Turn it
of
off. Now you know who I am.
Arnie Bishop. You're Arnie Bishop.
How many rooms in this house?
6.
Fine. My friends and I will stay here for a few days. It'll make a fine hideout.
What will you do when my husband comes home?
Don't worry about him. Now, suppose we go in the kitchen, and you can make me something to eat.
Wait.
Huh?
Why did you choose this house to come to? This house of all others.
Can't you guess?
Yes, I think so. How did you know Judy's name? And about the color of her hair?
Ah, you're getting warm.
My husband, Harry. Harry told you.
Oh, you know you're pretty smart.
Oh, please, don't you have any pity at all? Tell me what you did to Harry.
He's not hurt much. I just tapped him on the head. He picked me up on the road, gave me a lift. I pumped him, found out all about this house and about you and Judy. Then I knocked him out and kept going. It was pretty tough driving with one hand, but I made it.
Where's Harry now?
In the back of the car. He can't get loose.
I'm going out to...
Stay where you are.
But Harry's hurt. I can't leave him out there alone.
About this little red-headed kid of yours, where does she sleep? Upstairs?
You wouldn't hurt her.
Better stay here if you want to make sure.
Oh, no.
That's better. Now, suppose we have something to eat.
Now let's return to the little white shingled house on the hill, where Ethel Canning is entertaining her uninvited guest, Arnie Bishop. You know, he's a pretty courageous guy for an ex-convict. But then maybe he has the courage of his convictions. But Arnie isn't so smart, you know, tangling with a red-headed gal. He ought to recall that old ditty. How's it go? Beware of a girl with deep red hair. A man is safer in the electric chair. But who can tell how a tale will end on Inner Sanctum? Let's join them in the kitchen.
Oh, excellent bacon and eggs. I'm sure my friends will like cooking when they come.
More coffee?
Yes, please. Careful.
Oh. I was only reaching for the coffee cup.
I thought you might have ideas about grabbing this.
There's your coffee.
What time is it?
20 after 2?
3.5 hours to go before my friends get here.
How will they get through the roadblock?
Oh, you leave it to them.
Oh.
What's that?
That's the telephone. It's in the living room.
You better get to it. Oh, you don't let go of that gun.
Oh!
You shouldn't have tried that.
What are you going to do?
Answer that telephone first. Get going.
Yes.
Anybody in the habit of calling you at this hour?
No.
All right, answer it. But be careful what you say.
Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Canning. Oh. It's for you.
Oh. All right. Lay the receiver down on the table and walk away. That's far enough. Don't try anything. Hello? Linda? What, did you get started yet? Oh, where are you? What? Roadblock. Well, you've got to get through. I need Doc Stetson. You've got to make it, Linda. I can't stay awake forever. All right. Do your best. Call me back later. Oh.
What's the matter, Mr. Bishop? Are your friends falling down on you?
Shut up. I've got to think.
Oh, you don't have anything to worry about, Mr. Bishop. Aren't you a guest of the Cannings in the little white shingled house a mile off Highway 26 north of Accord?
Oh, you can be sarcastic, too.
Oh, I wouldn't dare be sarcastic to you, Mr. Bishop. Especially when you have that gun. And with my husband unconscious in the car, and you threatening to harm my child. Oh, no. No, you still hold all the cards, Mr. Bishop, and you're such a big, strong, brave man.
What are you trying to do? Get me mad enough to kill you?
Aren't you going to kill me anyway?
What makes you think that?
Because you're a killer by instinct, Mr. Bishop. It's easier for you to kill than to do anything else. I wonder why you didn't murder my husband instead of just knocking him out. Was it because you thought you might need him?
Well, you're not afraid of me anymore.
No, I'm not. No, I just realized I can't afford to be afraid.
What?
I'm a woman fighting for her family, for Harry and Judy. And I've got to use all my wits against you. I can't afford to be afraid.
You've got some scheme in that crazy little brain of yours.
Yes, Mr. Bishop, I have. I think I found the chink in your armor. You're a coward.
Me?
Yes, you. You're the one who's afraid now. Your friends aren't coming. You have a wound in your arm that needs treatment, and you know you can't trust me. You don't dare close your eyes even for 5 minutes. And you may have to stay here for several days. How do you like the prospect of staying awake night and day, watching me every minute of the time, afraid that you might drop off to sleep at any minute?
Oh, that's how you figure it, huh?
Maybe you better kill us all right now, Mr. Bishop. That would be easy, wouldn't it? Just 3 bullets. Then you wouldn't have to worry about watching anyone.
That's an excellent idea, Mrs. Canning.
Yes. But then you'd have other things to worry about.
Such as?
This is Saturday morning. The milkman will come to collect for the week's milk. The neighbors will stop by to ask if I want my marketing done. And what will you do? Skulk in the cellar while they ring the doorbell?
Yeah.
And then there's the police.
What about the police?
They'll surely search this part of the country. They'll be making inquiries at all the houses. Do you want them to find the car outside? With Harry in it?
Oh. You figured all the angles, huh? You know, you're pretty smart, Mrs. Canning. I think you're even smarter than Linda. But you forget one thing.
Yes?
You forget that little girl upstairs.
What do you mean?
Come along and I'll show you. Upstairs.
You stay away from Judy. Oh!
Maybe you think you've got everything figured out, but I'm still the boss. Gun muscle hurts, doesn't it? Now, shall we go upstairs? That's better. So you think Arnie Bishop is licked, huh? Which is Judy's room?
What are you going to do to her?
Which is Judy's room? Or you're going to make me open all the doors to find out?
No. That one.
All right, let's go in. So you first, Mrs. Canning.
I warn you, if you hurt
You
Judy...
first, Mrs. Canning.
Please don't wake her.
very pretty child. How peaceful she looks. And innocent. Hey, you know, childhood's the best time of life. It's almost a pity to grow up out of it.
You couldn't hurt her.
Oh, I assure you, Mrs. Canning, I won't lay a hand on her. Oh, no, not on a beautiful child like that.
No.
But, I've got to protect myself. Let's see. That's the connecting door to your room, isn't it?
Yes.
There's a key in the door. Lock it, please. Now give me the key. Thank you. Now we'll go out the way we came in. I'll take the key out of this door, too. Thanks. You first. Now we'll lock this door on the outside. There you are. Everything's set.
You just want to make sure she doesn't get out?
Yeah, something like that.
Huh?
Now, will you pull the mattress and sheets off your bed and bring them out here, please?
Are you going to sleep in front of her door?
Do as I say.
All right.
I'll help you.
I don't understand. Why do you want to sleep out here?
Norm. Everything just the way I want it. The mattress against Judy's door.
But you can't sleep on it that way, half up against the door.
I didn't say I was going to sleep on it.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Mrs. Canning, we'll see if you can figure out how to beat this angle.
What do you mean?
What would happen if I were to put a match to this mattress and bedding?
Oh, no!
This whole floor would be in flames in 5 minutes. With both doors locked, Judy wouldn't have much of a chance, would she?
No!
Still think Arnie Bishop is licked, Mrs. Canning? You were right about one thing, Mrs. Canning. I am in a corner. With this bum arm, I've got no chance of running if the police come. So if they do, and if I'm cornered, I'll set a match to this mattress and fight them off till the whole house is just a bunch of rubble with Judy in it. You understand me thoroughly, Mrs. Canning.
Yes.
So it's up to you to see that the police don't come. You're going to lie for me, Mrs. Canning, and you're going to cheat for me, and you're going to kill for me if necessary, because I always have a match ready. Now, do you still feel like trying any tricks?
I'll do whatever you say.
More like it. Now, the first thing you're to do, go downstairs and run that car into the garage. Get it out of the way. But don't touch your husband. Don't even look in the back of the car. I'll be watching, understand?
Yes.
Glad we understand each other at last. Let's go. I'll be standing right here in the driveway, so don't try any tricks.
I won't.
Remember, I'm watching.
Harry. Harry, dear, can you hear me? Harry? Harry? Oh, he's still unconscious. There's blood on his head.
Mrs. Canning.
Yes, I'm coming.
You did take a look at him, didn't you?
No.
All right.
No.
All right, come inside. Beautiful night, isn't it?
It'll be morning soon.
What time is it?
Almost 6. The milkman should be here soon.
Oh, well, here's where you start lying for me. After you, madam. Now, I'm going to sit right here in this chair with my hand in my pocket. And in my hand's the gun. Understand?
Yes. That's the milkman.
You'll tell him I'm your cousin, just visiting here for a few days.
He'll wonder why you're up so early.
Let him wonder. Go on, answer.
Good morning, Mrs. Canning. I'm the new milkman on the route. Hope I didn't wake you up.
Come in, please.
That's 2 bottles of milk you wanted this morning and a bottle of cream.
Yes, you can put them on the table.
All right.
Oh, this is my cousin. He's visiting us for a few days.
Oh, how are you?
Hello?
Do you have my bill?
Yeah, I got it right here in my pocket. Here.
Hey, is that...
That's right, Bishop. It's a gun. Sit still and take your hand out of your pocket very carefully.
Okay, you win. But how come a milkman with a gun?
I borrowed this coat from the regular milkman. I'm Sergeant Wright, State Police.
What?
Thank heaven.
State Police. How did you know I was here?
Mrs. Canning told us.
She? Well, how? I didn't let her out of my sight.
She broadcast it to us.
Broadcast?
Yes. Over this set, Mr. Bishop. Remember the speech I made you? You didn't know what had come over me. I was really talking to the state police over the short wave. Don't you remember I told you that this was a sending and receiving set, that my husband built it? And when I turned off the short wave signals, I turned the switch to sending. And then I just hoped my message would get through.
I didn't think you were smart enough. And I thought I had you scared stiff. You looked like the kind who would scare easy.
Oh, I am, Mr. Bishop, I am. But I warned you. This was a time when I couldn't afford to be scared.
Which all goes to prove that a determined man can always get what he goes after. You remember Bishop tried to get free board and lodging from Ethel Canning. He finally got it, all right, but not exactly where he wanted it. You know, as a matter of fact, Bishop was the type of man who should never have gone in for murder. Oh, too many risks. He should have specialized in arson. That's always a surefire undertaking.
That was your host, Raymond Johnson, closing the door on Inner Sanctum, tonight's performance in the Mystery Playhouse. It's late, Creep, so good night. Sleep tight.
The Best of X-1 from Radio Gold. X-1 has been described as one of the finest offerings of American radio drama and one of the best science fiction series in any medium of all time. Subscribe now to be notified when new shows drop. Radio Gold is a 3 9's Fine radio production. See you next time.